wait. Hello. Happy Friday. How are you? Okay, I'm quickly gonna pin the title. Today we're reading from a new book. I received it this week, but I haven't read it, obviously. But I wanted to sample it for you guys because I loved the cover so much when I saw it. Suitcase of Memory by Aisha Kassiem. Okay, I'm gonna pin the title. Hi guys, how are you? Welcome to another reading of what? A brand new book. So we're sampling a new book. In the meantime, while we wait, please let me know what you're reading. How was your reading week? How have you been reading? How are you coping? I know I'm really struggling, but this week I started with a buddy reading with three friends who two of them I've read with before in a group, and they've actually quite encouraged me to try and keep up with my reading. I have obviously reached, well, I not obviously, but I've reached my target for the year, which is a very modest 12 books per year. I've already passed that. I think I'm on 13 books now. Yeah. So my current read, which is Fred Kumalo's A Coat of Many Colors, which is our May book, buddy reading book, is now where okay, now I know where I am. My bookmark fell. Sorry. So I am done with 13 books already. Kenzie says, "Girl, good job." Like, I need to actually get above maybe 30, but I always said 12 books per year. I don't go above that. I just feel like, yeah, I don't want to pressurize myself, I'm gonna show you the books that I got this week. So this book that we're reading today is one of the books that I received this week. So it's part of my book mail for the week. And I also got my delivery from Harvest Books. I actually have a reel. I just posted a reel earlier on from Harvest Books. They are in Pretoria. They just actually launched the online store. It's live. It went live today. So yeah, I tagged them so you can check out my reel. Show my reel some love. I love the cover. Yeah. And that's the one book that I got. And I won this gorgeous hardback, Klara and the Sun. It's also on my timeline with a reel. When I got it, I thought, oh, how stunning is the pages, right? I haven't even paged through because it looks so perfect. But I got this. I won it in a giveaway with SA Bookworm. Hi, Malevo. Yeah. I love this cover. I'm looking forward to reading it at some point, guys. I need a bigger bookcase. I need a bigger room to keep all my books so that I can see all of them. There's books behind the books. And I need to stop winning books so that I don't have too many books. Hello, Bookamoso. Hello. Hi, everybody. So this is another book that I got. Yeah, and I like the inside as well, guys. So Khumus asking, please share how the friend reading works. Okay, so we have a reading group. We have a reading group on WhatsApp, and then whenever we decide on reading one certain book, we will break away from the main reading group and we just discuss the one book. So the one book will be called Suitcase of Memory, and then the people who decide they have the book, so they're going to read that book for the week, for the month. Then we just break up the number of pages into 4 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever. And yeah, we chat about the book depending on the book size. We chat about the book at least once a week or once every 2 weeks. And at the end of the month, we'll just wrap up the reading and what we thought of the book. So yeah, buddy reading buddy reading is what you make it, you know. But yeah, we actually reading 2 books this month. We're reading A Coat of Many Colors by Fred Khumalo, and we're reading Invisible Strings by Naledi Mashishi. I think I've shared it. Yeah, I did read from it as well recently. So if you've missed that, you can check it out on IGTV or on. Oh yeah, I was catching up with loading everything up on YouTube. So Naledi Mashishi's video will be loaded up today. Yeah, that's how it works. I hope I've given you an idea of how it's just like a digital WhatsApp book club, basically. So I'm gonna read the back of the book. Sorry guys, my tea is so nice. It's so cold. I'm gonna keep on sipping. But this is how the book looks like. I was gifted this book by Kwela Books, an imprint of NB Publishers. I absolutely love the cover. I think I saw it on, I forgot the bookstagrammer's name, about 2 weeks ago or so, and I commented on the book cover because it's stunning. I like that hint of yellow. Yeah, Bookamoso says, thanks, that helps. It's a lively way of catching up on reading. Yeah, so when we started last year, during hard lockdown, that's when we started. We began reading The 30th Candle. So that's how the reading group started. And it started from there. So we started reading A 30th Candle because some of us had read the book, but it had been years. So we ended up rereading the book, and we just discussed it at the end of the month, and it was actually like such a breath of fresh air, reading it from fresh eyes that are older and like wiser, because I read it when I had just arrived in Joburg. That's like what, 2012, 2013. So reading it later with a group of women was amazing. So we've read A 30th Candle, we've read Bomboy, and we've read, what else? I know right now the other groups are reading The Death of Vivek Oji, and we are reading A Coat of Many Colors. So we've broken away from the main group, and then some other group has read Sunyati's Family Affair, and I also have a series group which has read all of Dudu Busani Dube's Shlomo series, from the Shlomo series. So we have a series group, and we have read Carnita Loxton's The Being series, being Kari, being Shirley, and being Lily. So this month, or the past month, we were reading Being Shirley, but I had already read it. So yeah, but it makes things interesting. And we don't actually really talk too much on the group except for when we're having the discussion, except the reading group. So yeah, we have a reading group. It's just like a book club. It's digital. It's just on WhatsApp, you know. And we do meet up like once a week or every other week, depending on our schedules. So yeah, it makes it interesting. For me, last year, it helped me to finally read the Dudu Busani, the Shlomo series, and I actually quite enjoyed it. So yeah. Okay, I'm gonna read the back of the book and then we'll start reading. I don't want to read too much of the book because I want you guys to go buy the book. Yeah, it is available in all bookstores. I know it was in store this week or last week, I'm not sure, but I know Suitcase of Memories is on Instagram as Suitcase of Memories, so you can actually follow all the updates on there, and just follow NB Publishers for updates and launch details and stuff. Okay. Bastien Bredenkamp is dead, but even the dead have secrets. From the grave, Bastien weaves together the extraordinary tale of his life. Bastien, the heir to the Goedleven farm, suffers from a rare condition that allows him to remember everything that has ever happened to him since the day he was born. When Khadija III arrives at the Bredenkamps' Stellenbosch home on a Thursday in October in the time of Hendrik Verwoerd, she brings with her a world from which Bastien has been sheltered, but it is her daughter, Rashida, who captivates the young Bastien. Oh, so it's Bastien, not Bastien. Hey, it's like swapping the words. So Rashida, who is Khadija III's daughter, captivates the young Bastien. Except to love her, he will finally have to tell his secret. He's not who he appears to be. So yeah, that's the synopsis of the back. Ayesha Kassiem is a journalist and editor whose work has appeared in local and international publications. Let me see. So I'm going to read a little bit of part 1. The book opens up with 2 quotes by 2 different authors. And one is, "The past is never where you think you left it." Oh, by Catherine Ann Porter. And Emily Dickinson, "Hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all." And this is part 1. Hi, Nontli. Hello. Oh no, it's not Nontli, it's Rifilwe. Hi, Rifilwe. Hello, everybody who came in. Hi, Tabiso. Hello. Welcome. So I am starting to read from Suitcase of Memory, Chapter 1, and this is set in Cape Town, South Africa. The smell of death is always the same: camphor and incense. These are the first hosts who will meet you at the door. They won't ask whether you knew me, or whether you ever put your hand to your heart after shaking mine, or whether we ever sat on my stoop with a camel cigarette pressed between our lips just before the muezzin's call prickled under our skin. They won't care whether you ever peered over my broken down fence, where the apple tree sleeps against rusted metal hooks, or if you ever saw Rashida sitting on the rooftop like a referee honing her birds with old and tired hands. No, none of that matters. Not right now. Come in, they'll say. Come see. Come kiss his forehead and whisper in his ears. But wait, don't look too hard, because the face of death almost always stares straight back. No one will speak much, apart from the words that have already been set free and are easily plucked from the air. Ah, shame, isn't it sad? Wasn't it just yesterday that he said he missed his mama? No, dale. And as mourners in a Cape Muslim household, no one will say what is not being said. No. Those elusive words are saved for later, when telephone dials are turned, when cell phone numbers are punched, when caller IDs are noted, and calls are hurriedly answered. Hello, Miguel. You'll find me sitting among them, those who have come to greet my body and share in the biryani and large spoonfuls of onion and tomato salad soaked in vinegar. I knew that while death may have brought them to me, it was life that they craved. They needed to rub up against it, to taste the sting of hot rice against their tongues and feel the rough meat pressed against their palates. I watched as they looked for answers in one another's faces, for traces of what might remain when all that was left was a deep hole of maggot mouths waiting to feed. The elders always said that our whole lives were written on our foreheads. If that's true, it doesn't leave much room for error. I looked at Rashida in her black abaya near the door and knew she, like all the others, was looking at my lifeless body, still raw to the touch, and wondering just how far down the line she was as she waited to die. I've been waiting to die for a long time. I had hoped death would erase the margins of my memory, but instead I remember it all. From the darkness, memories still melt through my mind and settle in my bones. But memories are fickle, I'm told. Fickle. Even now, less than a day after the separation of soul from sinew, I see my life anew. The stories, the sorrows, the secrets. Okay. Life, it would appear, as with death, is never quite what it seems. To be dead is to have the veil pulled back from your eyes, as if it were a blindfold that you never knew was there. Dead to the world, you are alive to the senses and sorrows of the living. It is a knowing that transcends the confines of the here and now and encompasses all of the yesterdays and tomorrows, all of the past and the present. It is to know life in the same way you know your own reflection, familiar yet startling all at once. Bobejan klim die berg. Bobejan klim die berg. My mother would sing out loud most mornings while rubbing her belly. It was how I knew I was never really alone, and that blood and flesh were not nearly a strong enough barrier to keep us apart. She held me against her chest soon after my birth, my tongue tasting the dry and smoky fluffs of her old yellow jersey. Her skin smelled like the dusty corners of an attic where no one ever goes. I remember that first sensation of cold air stretching the edges of my lungs, my wet and naked body, the warmth of a hand around the base of my head. I remember her bloodshot green eyes, only softly wrinkled by a brief smile, the deep contours around her mouth like fissures and soft brown clay. What is that? Fissures. Bobbejaan klim die berg. Bobbejaan klim die berg. There was a voice in the room that day that was unfamiliar. There's no going back, okay? You don't have to worry at all. I'll look after him and he'll be really happy. It's amazing how white he is. Here, I brought the money. Light brown fingers brushed the few strands of hair I had at the top of my forehead. Everything you need is in the suitcase, my mother said. Keep him safe. Bobbejaan klim die berg. Bobbejaan klim die berg. I never see you again. You know that, right? We'd all get arrested and you'd probably be hanged. Just remember that. Oh, okay, sorry. The sentence is, I can never see you again. You know that, right? We'd all get arrested and you'd probably be hanged. Just remember that. Yes, memories are fickle, I'm told. Fickle. Between fiché and fiction in the Oxford English Dictionary, published in 1958, page 234. Inconstant, changeable, or fleeting, between Fleece and Fleming, page 242. Brief, transient, short-lived, momentary, sudden, cursory, transitory, fading, vanishing. I was 10 when I read that and realized for the first time that was exactly what memory was supposed to be. Something that came and went, but went where? Mine never left. At the time, of course, I didn't know that there was something wrong and unexpected about me. No one did. It would take years before I learned that my condition, or at least some part of it, had a name. The scientific name was hyperthymesia, or better known as superior highly autobiographical memory. I called it mad memory disease, and I learned there are about 80 people around the world who have it. It's not considered life-threatening, which may be why no one had ever really set out to find a cure. For most doctors, it seemed like nothing more than a curious case of remembering. Instead, it was so much more than that. Memories would mingle with my morning tea and sweeten my porridge. They would swirl like incense through my mind, forcing me to stop and breathe them in. Then they would lie down beside me at night, whispering sweet, soft nothings like the shrouded women of my youth. Khadija, Khadija, Khadija. She was known as Khadija III because she was one of 3 wives, all named Khadija, who was married to an old tailor and part-time pigeon racer, Haji Abdul Sulaiman. If this nickname offended her, Khadija III never said so. While she was always half hidden behind a voluminous black burqa, making her appear larger in size than she was, she became the mother I knew I had already lost. When she had first arrived at the Burenkamp's Stellenbosch home on a Thursday in October in 1950, it was the year of Hendrik, Verwoerd to be exact. Mama Sanri said all the front pages of the local newspapers announced that he had just become the Minister of Native Affairs and was in charge of all the acts. I wasn't sure what she meant, but it sounded like he was an important film director whose job it was to call the shots. Act 1, Scene 1. The Group Areas Act. Act 2, Scene 2. The Population Registration Act. Act 3, Scene 3. The Immorality Act. Act 4, Scene 4. The Mixed Marriages Act. And action! It was a Thursday in October and I was 6, riding around on a bicycle with a wooden stick, ready to defend our front door from Kaffers, when I first saw Khadija III walking towards the gate. I cycled towards her hastily with my wooden stick hoisted in front of me. "What do you want?" I asked. "Your parents? They here?" I paused. "Are you a Gappah or a whatnot?" Khadija III said nothing and only motioned me towards her. I looked at her, puzzled, and slowly rolled my bicycle forwards. "It's a secret, okay? So you can't tell anyone I told you, okay?" she said. It was the first time she smiled, her missing front tooth glaring at me like a hole in an ivory cage, her dark eyes bright and mischievous against black skin. It was easy to smile back at her. I nodded. There is no such thing as Gappahs or whatnots. That's just something people say to scare small children. Are you a small children? I shook my head hard. So what are you? I asked again. Maybe just another mama to love you. She smiled. Khadija III started working at our house soon after, partly as my nanny and partly as our housemaid. "Ba, ba, ba," she would say, lifting me up to the ceiling when I cried until my tears turned to laughter, echoing her words. It was how I would eventually come to be known as Bastian, Ba Bredenkamp. I guess now they'll call me the late Bastian Ba Bredenkamp. Late for what, though? I've never been late for anything in my life. Late for life, I suppose. Like so many other things, my name was not my own. My adoptive father, Ba Bastian, was one in a long line of Bastian Bredenkamps, all of whom could be traced to great Afrikaner battles, and all, he'd say, were revered as our country's great heroes. Oh, Bredenkamp. Every day, I'd look at their faces like their legacies, trapped behind glass frames and nailed shut against the walls of my father's library in the shape of a crucifix. He would confide in me sometimes after a few whiskies that this was how his ancestors spoke to him. "They tell me how to be great," he would say, his hairy legs propped up on his wooden desk as he leaned back in his leather chair. His thick mustache wriggled under his enormous red-tipped nose. "They will tell you how to be great too, Ba," he would say, motioning wildly with whichever hand held his cigarette. I would watch the edge of the white tip burn into a cloud of smoke like a misty halo above his head. The faces on the walls looked back at me from behind empty, lifeless eyes, as if to say, "Jesus, oh yes, Spoot, dis net kakprat man." Whatever Bastian knew about my true heritage from the start, I could not say at the time. But as I remember him now, there is only one thing that was his refrain. "There must be order, Bastian. Order. Blacks with blacks, whites with whites. Like laundry." I feel like stopping now. I feel like I know how the story is going to be. Like, sure. Okay, this is a buddy read book. Yeah, that was, sure, how many pages did I read? What time is it? It's 5:30. Guys, I have to go. But yeah, let me see if I can read the end of this page. But I liked that last part. So when older Bastian is drunk talking, he says, "There must be order, Bastian. Order. Blacks with blacks, whites with whites, like laundry." I feel like Bastian, the current Bastian, I don't know, yeah, because if you look at the cover, there's a couple here. See? And that memory of Bastian when he is like in he's dead, he was talking about like a child was exchanged at some point that looked white but wasn't white, right? I like stories that are like this, where you can actually, I like even how there's a mixture of Afrikaans as well here. Yay. Okay, let me read. I just saw something here. Bookamoso says whites with whites like laundry. I know, right? Okay. Our lives played out against the backdrop of Goed Leven, an old Dutch-style farmhouse that Bastian had inherited from one of his 4 bears, where rolling vineyards sometimes found their way almost up to our back door. We all believed the house was haunted, but I know now that ghosts have far more pressing things to do than to roam through empty hallways or hide in darkened corners. Khadija III called them jinn and forbade me from looking in the many mirrors in our long corridor during Islamic prayer times. Oh, okay, so ghosts are jinns. "Look away, Ba. The jinn will get you," she'd say. For Mama Sanri, the only gin that mattered was a gin and tonic. That gin and tonic is JINN. So here it's written, for Mama Sanri, the only gin that mattered was a gin and tonic. "What has Khadija III been telling you about gin?" she asked me one morning. "You're not You're not nearly old enough to drink. Mama Sanri would always make sure that I was either with Khadija III or running after the heels of my father, who would often swoop me up into his arms and onto his shoulders, while Blessing, our gardener, would wave at me from the vineyards. Here is the clean bus, my father would say, the small boss. Am I the clean bus of the farm, Papa? Yes. Am I the clean bus of the grapes, Papa? Yes. Am I the clean bus of Mama Sanri, Papa? No one is the bus of Mama Sanri, he would say and laugh. Am I the clean bus of Khadija III, Papa? Yeah. Ons as almal bus. Unbeknown to anyone, I would sometimes think of my birth mother, her green eyes and light brown skin. At the time, I knew too little to understand that my brown birth mother had, in the eyes of the South African state, polluted my skin too. And while my fair complexion and light green eyes were seemingly on loan to me by some genetic fluke, my countrymen, if they knew, would judge me as no less of a hot knot than her. I've always believed there are only two things that every man should know: how to be born and how to die. And I will stop there. And that was a sample reading of Suitcase of Memory. Aisha Kassiem is the author, and she is a journalist and editor whose work has appeared in local and international publications. So, yeah, this book is available in stores right now. And I got it from the good people at Kwela Books, an imprint of NB Publishers. So, Kumuzo says, so this child had to deal with racial differences. Yeah. So he actually has green eyes. He must be so cute. But yeah, like this is like every time I read stories that go back in history, I somehow get so triggered. There's a book I was reading that I've stopped reading for now because I got very, very triggered because there was a lot of racism, and it involved a child's memory. So I decided to just take a break, step back, and when the book speaks to me again, I'll pick it up. But for now, I'm like, no, I can't. So yeah, that was today's reading, guys. I will save this on IGTV, and I will load it up on YouTube for those who prefer to watch replays of these live book readings on YouTube. There is a whole bunch of videos that I've already loaded up on my YouTube channel. Sesigamo says, doesn't he become the mother's clean bus now because of his loaned color? Sure. Yeah. Yeah, Sissy, it does. With this questioning and the way he's being raised, yeah, it does. I know it does. Shoo, guys. Yeah, you can actually also visit aishakassiem.com for more about the author. I just saw this now at the back. So yeah, do follow the book page as well. I like that books now are able to be released and then they have an Instagram page or a Twitter page, so you can tag the author as well. Sure. Suitcase of Memory is the username as well on Instagram. Komoso says deep, plain bass, yeah. So the book that I was reading also had those elements where the author, she was remembering things from her younger years, and her family. For me, like there were a lot of racial confrontations, and it boils down to that thing where adults are the ones who actually have the power to teach and show kids the right way of doing things or like being, but then they choose to be racist about it. And then I think I'm battling a lot because they Christian, right? And oof, yeah, God, and then racism, and then I just got triggered. So I just decided, no, this is not for me for now. So I'm gonna wait for my mind and my, I don't know what else, to be okay with it. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me. For those who just came in, I'm so sorry. I just finished reading from the first chapter of Suitcase of Memory. This will be saved shortly on my IGTV, and I will upload it onto the YouTube channel, because I do archive all these live book readings on my YouTube channel, in between also trying to upload new content. So you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is the same name, Bookamoso Book Club. And yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you guys have a great reading weekend. Yeah, happy weekend. Get some rest and stay safe and wash your hands and sanitize wherever you go. Like, guys, this pandemic is not over. Yeah, be safe. Thank you for joining me, and I really, really appreciate it, and I appreciate the fact that you are so interactive as well in the videos. Even during my readings, you're very interactive, and in the stories, every time I post, you're liking my posts, you engaging with the content that I'm sharing. Yeah. Bye. Bye, Khomoto.